Welcome everyone to this presentation of our Sentinel OPTEX collaboration. I'm Michael Askew from Monitor Computer Systems, and I'm joined by Neil Foster from OPTEX. Together, we will be demonstrating some of the unique features of the integration of these two systems. This is the program that we'll be covering today, looking at how the monitoring center and the customer's representatives on site can collaborate to provide a fast, efficient method of confirming or cancelling alarms, which as far as I know is unique. There will be opportunities to enter any questions you may have in the chat function, so please do place your queries where we can answer them as we go along. The entire presentation will be recorded and made available shortly after we finish. A few general points then from the Sentinel perspective. Firstly, the integration is based on intruder and PA alarms being reported to Sentinel from the OPTEX Bridge using the Contact ID protocol. Although the technology is different, the monitoring center operator uses the same alarm handling processes as for other systems. The difference here is that the video verification images and live video can be sent instantly to the mobile phones of the customer contacts on site to confirm or cancel the alarm. There's a full audit trail, but at present it's achieved by embedding a link which takes the user to the OPTEX portal. Neil will be taking up the story now from an OPTEX perspective.
Thank you, Michael. So yeah, with the OPTEX Bridge, this is actually a partnership between OPTEX and a company called Checked, which is an American-based company who have a long history of working within the monitored security marketplace. They've seen the intruder monitoring solutions, they've seen the CCTV monitoring solutions. They've then identified a niche in the marketplace with additional features, which is where this product comes along. So OPTEX manufacture the hardware, which is called the OPTEX Bridge, and then Checked provide the portal, which you'll see in the demonstrations, and this is the part which will push the contact IDs into Sentinel. So the bridge, why is it called a bridge? Well, basically it bridges the gap between any intruder alarm product and any CCTV product. So where conventionally you just have an intruder alarm product that would push a contact ID into the alarm receiving center to tell an operator that you've got an intruder alarm activation on that site. That might come as an unconfirmed activation. That operator doesn't see what's happening on that site or has to start trying to interrogate an NVR or DVR to see the video footage. With the OPTEX Bridge, what we do is install that on site. It'll take the alarm input from the detection device. It'll then also take on the camera stream. It'll push it through the cloud and through the Checked portal, and then we deliver the video footage at exactly the same time as the alarm activation would come into the Sentinel platform. So when that operator goes to respond to an activation, he goes to open up the alarm. He'll then also be presented with the video footage to show him why that activation has occurred. Additional feature with the bridge is when we get an activation where there's somebody seen on site, what we can also do is now push out a message to the end user via text or email for that end user to then verify whether that person should be on site or shouldn't be on site. If it's somebody that shouldn't be on site, they can pass a message back to let the alarm receiving center know that they need to handle this activation. If it's somebody that's on site, we can simply send a message back in to say just disregard that alarm activation, and we can actually close it down within the Sentinel platform. So how does the bridge work? The bridge is a network device. It works on network plug and play, so we can literally just plug it into a network. It'll route its own way out to the cloud, and then it'll form a secure connection between the cloud and the site, and also the cloud and the alarm receiving center. So all transmissions are on a secure socket layer with encrypted communications. The bridge will also fully supervise, or will be fully supervised from the cloud. So we supervise from the cloud through to the bridge device itself, and then we also supervise from there through to all the camera connections. So if a camera stream should go off for any reason, we can push a contact ID back into the alarm receiving center to let them know that they've got a problem on that site or with that camera. What we can also do with that is build in a delay time. So we can then make sure that a device is not just a router doing a reboot, it's the device is offline for a 5-minute, 10-minute period, then we can flag it up within the alarm receiving center. So with regard to the detection devices, any of the detection devices that you can see along the bottom can be routed through to the bridge. So that might be panic buttons, internal intruder detection, external detection. That connects up to the bridge device, where there's 2 bridge devices in the center. The smaller one is the 4-way unit that we do. We also have a 12-way unit. So the 4-way unit can take 4 alarm inputs and 4 cameras, and the 12-way unit can take 12 cameras and 12 alarm inputs. We will then bring in the camera stream. So we can bring in a camera stream from any OnViv compatible camera, or we can bring in the camera stream from anything that has an RTSP stream, so an NVR or DVR. So our product will work with any kind of HD over coax devices. We can bring that in as a camera stream, and we can instantly push that through to the alarm receiving center for the visual verification. What we can also do with the bridge is we can also do audio challenges, which you'd expect. Now for that, we use the text-to-speech service. So an operator would use predefined messages or can type a message in and push that down to site for that audible challenge to be put down to site. We use the text-to-speech service because it just keeps the audio level consistent. So as soon as that is set up at site, it doesn't matter whether you've got a quiet spoken operator, a loud spoken operator, or whether you have people with different accents, that message always comes out the same with the text-to-speech service. The other thing that we can also do with the bridge is use audio files as well. So you do have the option of pre-recording messages, using them as an audio file, and then you can actually push that down to site. So with the bridge, common applications are intrusion detection. So where conventionally you might get an unconfirmed activation that might require a key holder response, with the bridge you get the visual verification of what's caused that activation. Might save a key holder having to be sent out to site to reset an alarm system for a false activation. One of the favorite ones is panic buttons at the moment. There's lots of sites that are out there that are off police response. Losing police response on a panic button is a major issue at this moment in time. With the bridge, we can use the bridge to visually verify with the camera that's typically sat above that till location, for example, and then get the police response based on the visual verification. So that's ideal for hotel receptions, any kind of shop, any kind of retail applications. We also use the bridge in conjunction with external detection, but it's literally any product that can give us a relay contact output. We can use that relay contact output, and we can then bring in the video footage to confirm why that activation has been caused. So that might be flood, it might be water leak detection, it might be lifts and elevators, it might be access control. There's so many different applications that the bridge can be used with. So the first activation that we're going to show is we're going to go through a little video which is just going to show what would happen in the event of an alarm activation coming in within the checked portal. This will show how an operator would be able to handle this activation. We've also got an additional feature on here called the privacy feature. So the privacy feature would stop an operator from seeing the video footage unless they were authorized by the end user. So we're just going to take a look at a video to show how the checked portal can assist an operator handle an alarm activation within the Sentinel platform. So looking at the normal operator queue, there's an alarm activation going to come in here. Our operator is going to go ahead and click on that to accept that alarm activation. As it does that, we'll open up the Sentinel record, but what we'll also do is automatically open up the checked portal. Now the checked portal will give us the live images on the left-hand side, they'll give us the pre-recorded images on the right-hand side. On this site, we have an additional feature called privacy mode enabled. That privacy mode just stops an operator from seeing any video footage of this site unless he's granted access by the end user. So within the checked portal, we can push out a text message to a mobile phone, so dragging in a screen mirror of a customer's mobile phone. As we click on that verification message and ask for that verification to be sent out, we'll get a confirmation within the checked portal, so we can close that down. We can then go ahead and suspend that activation within the Sentinel platform. What you'll see on the customer's mobile phone, that text message has already arrived. Back in the Sentinel platform, that activation is now sat in the suspended alarm queue, so the operator queue is now clear and the operator can go ahead and handle other activations as they come in. So from that end user's point of view, they can click on the link within the text message, that will take them to the checked portal. They can now tap on that screen and that will take them to the video verification for this alarm activation. So with this, you'll get 20 seconds worth of images that will scroll through just to show what's happened on the site to cause this alarm activation. So as you can see here, there's somebody somebody seen on site. So we can review these pre-recorded images. We can also swipe that screen across to the left-hand side to look at live images, and then we can give a decision back to the alarm receiving center what we want to do with this alarm activation, so we can disregard it or call the police. So on this one, we'll call the police. We'll also give the operator access to view that video footage. Now within the Sentinel platform, in the operator queue, you'll see that alarm activation has come back in. It's come back in as a confirmed activation. So our operator can now go ahead and click on that. That will take him back into the record to see the standard action plan for this site. You'll also see within the media history, we've got a link which will take us back to the checked portal. As we click on that, it'll now take us back to those pre-recorded and live images, but you'll actually see that we see the pre-recorded images and we also get access to the live images. So this is just one of the ways in which the checked portal can assist an operator handle an alarm activation within the Sentinel platform. So that was just one of the examples of what we can do with the bridge. There's quite a lot of information to take on board there. The privacy feature is especially useful for anybody working within the residential marketplace or any sort of like high security marketplaces where you don't want that video footage being transmitted off site unless it's essential to be done. Now with the bridge, it's a versatile product, so it might be that within an alarm receiving center you just literally want the visual verification, so when the activation comes in, the operator can visually verify what's happening with this activation and then take the appropriate steps. Or it might be you want to take it to the next level, and where you see somebody seen on site, then you have the benefit of being able to push that message out for a verification from the end user. The end user can then provide the information back in to say that there's somebody seen on site that I don't know, I need you to take further action with that. Or it might be that it's disregarded because, for example, it's the cleaner that's on site. And by disregarding that, it will just close it down within the Sentinel platform. So operators that are using this, it's helping them speed up the reaction time to activations, because you can now pass that responsibility for that alarm activation onto the end user where somebody's seen on site. They can then take responsibility and push that, that reply back into the system. So moving on to the next video, we'll take a look at the bridge working in an external environment. So in this external environment, we've got external detection that's on this site. So we'll play that through and review that at the end. So we're just going to take a look at another video now and see another way in which the checked portal can assist an operator handle an alarm activation within Sentinel. So there's an alarm activation just come in. Our operator can go ahead and click on that to accept it, and once again we'll open up the Sentinel record, and it'll also open up the checked portal, which will provide the video verification of what's just caused this alarm activation. So as that opens up, we get the pre-recorded images on the right hand side, we get the live images on the left hand side. Now on this one, it's an external application, so we've got a physical detector, we've got the detection overlay that's marked on this pre-recorded images. Now what we can do is we can click the hide info icon. That will remove that detection overlay so the operator can see exactly what's happening on this site. Once again, we can use the verification, so we drag in the screen mirror for that end user's mobile phone. We can push a text message out to them to get verification on what we want to do with this person that's been seen on site. So click on the verification, we'll get the confirmation within the checked portal that that's been sent out. We can close the checked portal down. We can also then go ahead and suspend this call once again within the Sentinel record. Now as we suspend it, you'll see that that'll go into a suspended alarm queue. Going back to the end user's mobile phone, as the end user clicks on that to view the video footage of what's caused that alarm activation, click on the link in the text message and then tap on the screen, and that will give him the pre-recorded images of what's just caused the alarm activation. So and this is really useful for an operator to be able to get the feedback from the end user. We've seen somebody on site, we don't know whether they should be on site or not on site. The only person that's going to know that is the end user. So the end user can say disregard this event, or can say call the police for this event. Now once again, we can slide that screen to the left and we can see the live images of what's happening on that site. At the bottom of the screen on the mobile phone, you'll see that there's one person checking this event. If somebody else logs in to check it, you'll see their name pop up as well. So we can now go ahead, we'll disregard this event. As we disregard the event, confirmation tap on that screen, you'll see that that alarm has now disappeared from the suspended alarm queue. So that's been cancelled out within Sentinel. So that was just another example of how the OPTEX bridge can work. Now, there's a couple of features in here which really help the operator just by having that physical detection overlay put on. It actually helps drag the operator's eye to the detection area. It could be that in the scenario that you can see there, it's really nice and easy. It's the post lady that's come to this address which has caused the activation. Could be in this scenario that you've actually got animals walking around in that area where the passive infrared is. Now, if an operator is looking at that area just by looking at the center of the screen, he could possibly be responding, thinking it's the wildlife that's caused the activation. But if it's actually somebody that's crossed across that active beam in the back left-hand corner that's caused the activation, just by having that detection overlay on there, it'll really help the operators respond to this. Now, there's lots of other features that we can do within the bridge. We can fire relay outputs. So in this environment, the external environment, we could do an audio challenge to start with, but if we needed to fire a relay output to trigger lights, open a gate, for example, there's also that feature that's there within the OPTEX bridge as well. Moving on to the next example, we'll take a look at the PA and how the system can assist operators in handling PA activations.
So we're now going to take a look at how the checked portal can assist an operator handle a PA activation within Sentinel. So looking at the normal operator queue, that PA activation has just come in. Our operator could go ahead and click on that and accept this alarm activation. We'll open up the Sentinel record. We'll also open up the checked portal, which will give us the pre-recorded images and the live images of this alarm activation. So we can see we've got the detection overlay marked on here. This is just to drag the operator's eye to the area of interest if there's potentially multiple PA buttons in an area. We can hide that information if that information is in the way of the operator making a decision on this activation. Now, once again, we can push this out to the end user as there doesn't seem to be much happening in this scenario. We can send that verification message out to the end user. The end user will get the text message in that mobile phone screen mirror that's just been dragged in, and they can give feedback on what they want to do with this activation. So now that's been sent out, we'll close the checked portal. We'll also suspend this activation within Sentinel, and that'll put it back into a suspended alarm queue. Now, as the end user goes forward and clicks on the text message, once again we'll open up the checked portal, which will show the visual verification of why this activation has come in. So our end user will be able to see the pre-recorded images, and we'll also be able to see the live images of what's happening on this site. Now on here we've got a countdown timer, which is just a blue flashing icon which says we've got roughly 80 seconds to make a decision on what we want to do with this activation. Now what we're going to do with this one is we're going to leave it with no response. So eventually this will time out, and we'll show you how we'll push a no response back into the Sentinel platform and how Sentinel will handle that. So as we now get towards the end of this countdown timer, this is a predetermined time from the installation. We'll see that we'll get no response. We'll show in the checked portal. Now what you'll also see is that activation will come out of the suspended alarm queue and will be represented in the operator queue, so the operator can now click on this to handle this activation. Opening up the Sentinel record, we can see exactly what the operating procedure is for this site. We can also go to the media links, click on the media link, and that will take us to the checked portal so the operator can see the visual verification, what's caused the activation, and then what's happening live on that site at this moment in time. He can then make the decision on what should happen with that alarm activation.
So that was just explaining how the OPTEX bridge and the checked portal can assist with PA verification. Now there's a big issue within the end user marketplace at this moment in time where within the UK, PA buttons are losing police response due to false alarms. So rather than go through the process of having to change that PA button from a double press PA button to a confirm panic button, that might mean on the site having to replace the panic button, potentially additional cabling or replacing cables, potentially adding zones onto the intruder alarm panel or even an intruder alarm panel upgrade. What we can do with the OPTEX bridge is just use the existing double press PA button. We can then bring in the camera stream for the camera that's typically sat above that till location, for example. So when that end user hits that double press PA button, we bring in the video stream and that's transmitted through to the alarm receiving center so the operator can visually verify the cause of that activation. So that's not only an easier install from the installation company's point of view, a lot better service from the alarm receiving center's point of view because they can see exactly what's happening on that site. The other thing from an end user's point of view is if anybody's in that true duress situation where they're having to press that panic button, it's a lot easier to press the standard conventional double press panic button than it would be to start trying to press two buttons on the front of a confirmed PA button and then hit the two buttons on the side. All the time within the end user's mind, this is a silent response that's going to go through to the alarm receiving center. So have they done that correctly or not? Pressing a double press panic button is a fairly easy process to do. By doing that and knowing that the video stream is there and going to be transmitted through to the alarm receiving center, that's going to put any end user in a more comfortable position. So that was a recap on the PA activations. Obviously, we can use the system for the external detection, which we've been through, and also the internal intruder alarm activations. Now, the demo that we've given you is just to show the 3 different ways within Sentinel, the automatic process of handling those events. So that was the call the police or the dispatch, the disregarding the event, and then also the no response. Obviously, all of those 3 actions can work with any of the scenarios that you've seen, and we'll give that automated process into the Sentinel platform and then for the alarm receiving center.
So we're going to just say thank you, everyone, for your attendance today. I hope that was helpful. But if there is anything that you think afterwards, I wish I'd asked, well, both Neil and my email addresses, which I'm sure you already have, are up there on the screen for you, and we'd be very happy to answer your questions.